What's going on, everyone? It's Corey and Jack here from the Breakevens, giving you another podcast. Round one of Supercoach is done and dusted, and what a chaotic and absolute! It was just absolute carnage, Jack. Probably one of the worst starts to Supercoach I've seen in a while.
Yeah, nah, yeah. um, I was affected heavily.
Yes, and a lot of people were. But we'll get into that very soon. So. Let's get all the nitty gritty out of the way. Firstly, I'd like to thank everyone who joined the Breakevens Unlimited group. We snuck in at 191, which is awesome. So we're 9 away from 200. So I think that's something to aim for next season is get 200
But
people.
we're 91 higher than what we wanted as
Yeah.
well.
Well,
So you think
189
both
gives us
ways.
two.
Yeah, well, you think both ways. We wanted 100, then we saw that go so quick, so we just tried to bump it up another. So we still did, well, I'd say, better than what we expected.
We definitely did. So a big thank you to everyone who jumped in, and good luck to you all. Don't forget, you can find us on Twitter at BreakEvensPod. Trying to hit 500 followers. I think we're at 422. So,
I can quickly check if
I
you
think,
like.
yeah, I think we're about 68 away. So make sure you give us a follow on Twitter. That's where we're most active. We're on there every day, not every minute.
422, yeah, you're right.
422. There you go. I've got family life and stuff like that, so I'm not on it every second, but I always jump on as much as I can. So give us a follow at Breakevens Pod on Twitter and on YouTube. Search the Breakevens, you'll find us there on the road to 200 subscribers. So click that subscribe button if you like our content and you want to keep up with all the latest news. So that done and dusted and out of the way, this is how things are going to go down today. That rhymed. That was
Can the real Slim Shady please stand up?
so what's going to happen is we are going to quickly go through how our team went. We'll go through the break evens team, how it went, and then we'll just do a quick summary on our thoughts on round one, and then we'll go through our VC, our buy, sell, keep, avoid, and our Aiden Bonner club. Those are our three big segments that we're pushing. So, without further ado, let's get started. All right, so Jack, how did your team go? Just give me score, rank, and possible trades for this week, if you've scored.
So I scored 1805. I had a couple of injuries that affected it. My round rank is 105,947.
Okay.
Trades this week, I'm only doing the one, and that's Tom Stewart because he's missing a month. The other couple players that did miss, one's possibly playing next week, and the other one's just concussion out for a week. So I'm gonna hold on to both of them. But yeah, my trades at the moment it's just Tom Stewart to Nick Dacos.
And I'm guessing you're talking about Jones. So if Jones isn't playing, what are you thinking there?
Well, I'm gonna see what the scouting report says because obviously, if it says he's out, but it's out for a week, I'll hold.
Yep.
But if he's out for 2+, I'll go him down to a McKenna.
Okay. Yep. Nice. Nice. So I scored 1991, which means I'm ranked 33,000th. Had Sheasel on the bench, so that could have been an easy 2100, but I decided not to trade a rookie for a non-playing rookie just to loop his score. So that's on me. I'm looking to use my first trade boost. Um,
Jeez.
I'm looking to go Liam Jones out, Ben Cunnington out, and Nat Fife out. And I'm going to bring in Nick Dacos, Jack Zeeble, and Cade Chandler, who's a risky one, but I'm happy to risk that. So That's what I'm thinking, and I've already thought ahead to next week, and Josh Goda and Jacob Hopper could easily become Connor McKenna and Horn Francis if needed. So um, we'll go through the break evens team quickly. So 1861 for the break evens, rank 87,002nd. Um, Stuart Jones injuries. We had Jaden Hunt. Laird was our captain because Dunkley didn't do great, and we had Bruin and Flanders. So not great. We haven't really spoken about trades, but Tom Stewart will have to go. So it's whether do we go to maybe like a Sicily, um, and what do we do with Liam Jones or Jaden Hunt? I think we might have to keep one of Bruin and Flanders as well. So we have a lot to talk about. We haven't spoken about it yet. That'll come in the next couple of days. But so not the best start for us all overall. But we're making those trades to get back on track. So with that done and dusted, we'll get into our round one summaries. All right, Jack. So how did you see round one Supercoach wise?
Chaotic,
Yeah, but that's a fair word.
crazy, unprecedented, unexpected. Um, Obviously we had big primos get injured, big primos underperform,
Yep,
pretty much all of them. Mid prices show a lot, but not use the ball well.
yep,
Um, Rookies excelling higher than what we expected, but also rookies doing worse than what we expected. So it's a bit of a, how would I put it? It's a weird feeling at the moment. Do we back these players in? Don't we? Do we want to rush trade mid prices now because of one bad game, or do we want to wait a second week? There's a lot of thinking and mathematical equations going on at the moment. I think can say with everyone.
yeah. Well, as I said before, it wasn't the greatest round for most people, except for the guy who won the K. But if you look at his team, it's
Oh, shocking!
yeah, it was a stinker. But it's round one, and we always know round one teams. Some can be a bit crazy and win that 1K. But yeah, I think the big thing that come out of this week is injuries, and looking forward how we as super coaches deal with our teams and how quick we can get back on track. So I think chaotic is um, the correct word to use. Hopefully, starting next week, it's all coming up Millhouse. So um, yeah, so that's a quick summary. So I'll go through our VC and C options.
Sure. Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
All right. So what I've done is I've gone into the depths of Supercoach and found players that I think are good VC and C options. Um, Now, what I do is I look at their last three games against the team. I don't look any further. I look at the last three because that's the most recent ones we have. And if you look at career, you can start to look into people's first years where they might not have done so well, or 3 years ago they might have had a worse role. So I've gone with the most recent, um, the last three games. So I'll tell you what day they play, what their average is the last three, and if they're a VC or a C option or both, depending on when they play. So up first, we've got Clary Oliver, who plays on the Friday versus the Brisbane Lions. He averages 117 in the last three against them, which is quite handy for those who have him. He's a VC option, being on that Friday night, obviously. Next is Callum Mills on the Sunday versus the Hawks. He averages 143 in his last three against the Hawks, which is absolutely massive. He'll be
Far out.
a captain option, but one thing you have to worry about is Finn McGuinness. Will he tag Callum Mills? That's the big one. So be wary of that. But 143 is pretty solid. I've got the Bond on Saturday night versus the Saints. He'll be a VC or a C option, depending if you go Clary on the Friday, or who's playing on the Thursday. Is it you guys again?
No, it's Carlton Geelong.
Carlton Geelong. So if you have a Doherty, or a Cripps, I'd probably say you could use Bond as a seed if you have one of those. But yeah, averages 144 in his last three against the Saints, with his last two scores, Jack, of 181 and 159. Personally, he's my vice captain going into this round. 144, and those last two are massive. So let's see how he goes with a Dunkley less midfield against the Saints. Now I've got a few smoky picks. Canelio plays on the Sunday versus the Eagles. He's a captain option. The reason why I've put him is he plays the Eagles, and Harry Perryman, Josh Kelly, and Lockie Whitfield are all out. So he's definitely going to be the number one guy. And we saw him score 143 last week, so he can do the same or go even bigger. So he's a good smoky captain option. And his teammate Tom Green, again, Sunday versus the Eagles, a captain option, and for the same reason as Cogs was with those three injuries, he's going to be getting bulk mid minutes there, and you'd think he'd get a bit more of the ball. He's my captain option at the moment, so I've gone Bont into Green. It's looking like Jack McRae on the Saturday night versus the Saints. Again, he's a VC or C option. Averages 123 in his last three against the Saints. So people just seem to bully the Saints like the Freo defense did last week.
Get around them, by the way.
Yeah, all six of them went 90 plus, and three of them went 130 plus. So yeah. Jack Sinclair, Saturday night versus the Dogs. Again, he's a VCC option. 125 in his last two. I've only put last two for Sinclair because before then he didn't have the same role as he has now. So I thought that was a bit unfair. So I've gone last two, 125, which is nice. James Sisley on the Sunday versus the Swans. Again, a captain option. 138 in his last two. Again, I've gone last two because he's been a defender in the last two, where before then he was a forward. So again, it's a bit stiff to put him in. So 138 in the last two is pretty good. Maxi Gorn on the Friday versus the Lions. Again, a VC option. 123 in his last three. Looked very good. He had more contest than Grundy around the ground, and he was floating between half back and that half forward. So that's handy. Next one, I've got Zachy Merritt, 126 in his last three. He's playing the Suns on the Sunday. So again, he's a captain option there. Got tagged last week, so I think we can all back him to bounce back. And the last one is Andy Brayshaw on the Saturday night versus North, a VC or C option. Playing at home against North, 123 in his last two. I put last two because before then he hadn't really broken out and wasn't, the player he was. So it's what I put there. But for him, it's a bit stiff because the Dogs play the Saints on that same night. So I'd lean towards Bont myself. But if you want to go a bit risky with Andy Brayshaw, you can go risky with Andy Brayshaw.
Well, I can tell you now, I've gone two names that you did not mention at all.
Who have you gone?
So my vice captain is Nick Dacos against Port.
Okay.
obviously there's not much to go from, but I'm basing off last week. Port were very, very good and
They
very
were.
good in the attacking sense. So I feel like they're also very inaccurate. So I feel like there's more kickouts for Dacos, and I feel like the ball's going to be around him more.
Yep.
And my captain is Shrek Darcy.
Oh.
Gold Coast. North Melbourne's number one ruckman's gone down with an injury, missing few weeks, so he's most likely going to be going up against the Charlie Comben, and if or not Todd Goldstein, who's about 40 years old now, I can just see him absolutely bullying him.
Yep. So I'm pretty sure Goldie will come in there. So, but saying that, Darcy does score very well against Goldie anyway.
I
Um,
just see with Cherry out, even if Cherry was playing, I feel like it's a game where Darcy can just bully him with, especially the ruck contests, and then around the ground, that no ruckman's able to move him anyway. So
yeah.
what's these little skinny blokes gonna do?
Yep, fair. No, I think Darcy's a decent shout there. Just one thing with Dacos, Port have said they're going to give him attention. So it probably won't be a tag, but it'll be a bit of, like what happened to Rory Laird last week, where there'll always be a body on him. But as I said in my video, if you haven't seen my video, I posted it yesterday. I'm going through my round one team, what I'm thinking of doing in the future. Um, it I said that I think Dacos is more likely to break a tag off the half back than he is in the midfield. So, and if they are inaccurate, like Jack said, then he's got to take those kick ins, which will help him a little bit there. So, all right, I like it. So that's the VC and C segment over and done with. Let us know in the comments section, what did you think of it? Um, it's something I like doing, and the first time we've really made it a segment. I sort of did it a little bit last year,
Towards the
um,
end, yeah.
towards the end, but yeah, I want to make it a thing. So yeah, let us know down in the comments, and we'll get into our brand new segment, which is buy, keep, sell, and avoid.
Help me! Help me!
All right, so what is buy, keep, sell, and avoid? So what is going to happen is each week, Jack and I will go our separate ways and we'll choose a buy player, someone who we think is a good investment for our teams, a keep, someone who might be in a bit of a form slump, but you should stick with them because they're either a primo or their role looks changed for whatever reason. Sell someone who you need to get rid of urgently, who may be a long term injury or their role has changed, or they're just on a big slump and it doesn't look like they're going to be the player we want. And avoid is someone who's basically playing out of their skin, and this and might just be a purple patch and not to get sucked into that pick. So we're going to do this every week. Hopefully you enjoy it. But Jack, we'll start with you first, mate. Who is your buy?
So my buy for the week, if you don't have him already, it is Harry Sheasel to Cheezel.
The big cheese on.
Got a great role in the halfback flank. Obviously that helps. Like 34 touches he had, and they're saying it's like the best round like rookie game in the last 20 years or something like that. Like he's got the most disposals in a first AFL game ever, or like equal to, and he's got the first 30 plus in like 20 years. So he's doing some unbelievable stuff. Obviously that halfback flank role allowed him to get those possessions, that 114 super coach. So I think his break even's already going to be huge as it is. If he backs that up with another 100, we're looking at like a negative 70 or 80 odd break even, I'm pretty sure, if not more.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
it's
definitely
gonna
pretty big into
it's
those
gonna be
negatives.
very big. So I'm saying buy him now. Don't wait. Because you're also expecting Well, you're not expecting 34 touches every week, but now you can sit there and expect, and not go, oh, I hope he gets 70 each week. You can be there like, oh, I'm expecting a 90 plus. He's someone who's shown he can score 90 plus at the lowest an 80. Not they're like, oh, let's hope he scores 70. At the F6, that's massive, especially to start the season off.
Yep. Couple of things. One, he won the Rising Star for round one as
Yeah.
well. And two, I just wanted to clarify, Jack and I have no clue who each other have gone,
Oh, yeah, no.
but I've gone the Cheezel as well.
It was
But
very hard to find someone to buy. One, in
that,
this chaotic round, but two, it's very early, so it's like more appealing for a rookie who goes big over someone that's a primo that goes big in round one, because you're not really looking to trade primos away straight away.
yeah, yeah. So basically, Clarko came out after the game and said he'll be starting on the halfback this coming week. So 114, he looked comfortable, and he's probably one of the best cash cows we have at the moment. If you don't have him, and you have like a Tanner Bruin or a Flanders that or a Fife that you're not happy with, it's an easy downgrade there. And you have some extra cash to maybe go a Jones up, or like a Bruin up to a Golden, or something like that. So it works both ways. You get one of the best rookies we have, and you have some spare cash to help change your structure if needed. Who's your keep, Jack?
So my keep, I've got a couple of names to mention as well, but I've gone pretty obvious here. Rory Laird, one bad game doesn't mean you should rage trade away. But going off that as well, the likes of Charlie Constable, Jacob Hopper, Will Ashcroft, Rowan Marshall, Tanner Bruin, Flanders, those guys that showed a little bit. Especially Bruin in the first half was on fire. Constable, Hopper were very inaccurate with their disposals. They showed a lot, but obviously their Supercoach score wasn't great because of that. So, like with those guys, hold for a week. If they still score those 60s and we see their break evens aren't great, then I would jump off. I wouldn't just get rid of them because of one performance.
Yep.
That's going on with Rory Laird. He never really got into the game. It was Sunday, which doesn't help. But there was no real, like you said, there wasn't a tag on him.
Yep.
So it's like there's no worry with that. It's just maybe a, a lack of something or a little niggle that no one spoke about.
Yeah, so he came out and said he struggled with the weather. You might be thinking, what the hell, like, you know,
It was like 37,
it was
38 in that
30,
game, to be fair.
37 degrees.
Yeah.
It was humid, so the ball was a bit slippery. It was very hard for the players, which you saw at the end, everyone was cramping up. He said he really struggled with the heat and didn't really feel comfortable, so he didn't really get into the game. So going on this week, there's no excuses, I think.
Yeah, no, maybe it could just be like a little mindset thing going into it as well. 37 degrees. You're there like that's bloody hot.
Yeah.
I know. If I got told to play in 37-degree heat, I'd be like, yeah, no, sorry, boss, I've done my hammy. I can't play this week.
Yep. Funny enough, Jack, Rory Laird is my keep as
Can we go
well.
4 for 4?
I just think you pay 700K for a guy, um, that easily is going to go 120 over the season. Um, a lot of people getting rid of him, which I don't agree with. Everyone knows he's going to drop cash. Bryce
He
Mitchell
was
put
going
out,
to at the start of the year, no matter what this week was.
yep. So Bryce Mitchell put a thing out saying if he goes 120 for the next 4 rounds, he's going to drop 70k in cash. And if he goes 110 in the next 4 rounds, he's going to drop 100k, and you can pick it up at 606. I think he goes 130 plus in the next 4 weeks. So really, I think you might get him for 50k cheaper. So is wasting 2 trades, one to get him out and one to get him back for 50k, is it really worth it? In my opinion, it's not. You have bigger problems in your sides to deal with if it's injuries or trying to get the right rookies in. So I'd focus on that first. If the next 2 weeks he again goes sub 100, then okay, I understand that. You can basically swap him for anyone anyway in 2 weeks because he'd only drop maybe 30k, so he'd still be 670. So you can get anyone basically. So I think he's a keep and a fun little fact, Jack. It was the first time that he dropped a 50 since 2014, where he scored a 9. That was because he was subbed on as the sub.
In his rookie year.
I think it might have been his rookie year as well. It was round 22 as well, so it was the last game of the year. So, yeah, Rory Laird is a big keep for me. Jack, your sell. Can we go 3 for 3?
Well, it's Tom Stewart.
Okay.
So 3 to 4 week knee injury. That's what they're expecting. It can go longer, but it won't go any shorter.
Yeah.
They're basing it off. It's what was it? A medium strain?
It was a medial
Yeah, but like a
yeah.
medium strain. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
too serious.
Yeah.
A medium strain in your knee. As soon as you get back to running and stuff, it can just go again.
Yep.
And because knees, you've got that strain on your medial in your knee. The next time it can just snap off. Like
Yeah.
it can be fully done. So that 3 to 4 weeks, I'd say that's the minimum. But you
Yeah.
can obviously also miss longer. Obviously, part of me being a Richmond supporter, seeing Geelong round 9, I hope so. But also, as a footy fan, I don't.
Yeah.
But these are just the possibilities with knee injuries in general. There's a big chance of doing it again straight away than it not happening. So I'd sell now because you can't have, in my opinion, you can't have bench cover for 3 to 4 weeks minimum. Get someone in, even if it's like a up to a Sicily or down to a Dacos like I did, or a Ridley or a Rioli, Doherty, anyone really. I think that's the smartest play.
Yeah. Now I'm going to go all Dr. Corey Larkins here. So you'd think it'll be 2 to 3 weeks for him to get back into main running, and then maybe a couple weeks to feel confident with
Yeah,
going sideways with his agility. So going that left and right movements. So I think definitely minimum of 4 weeks, but it could push to 6. And just touching on what you were saying at the end there, Jack, I totally agree. Most of us have a Wilmot or a Chesser and a Cowan on our benches. Do you really want a 50 score?
50 at best really is what we're
Um,
seeing from him.
except for Wilmot this week because Kitty Coleman's out, so it could be a bit of a bump
Yeah,
there. But yeah, a 50 score for 4 weeks, where if you get a Dacos, he goes 120. That's 70 points each week over 4 rounds. Is 280 points you're missing out on just because you keep Stewart. Can you get that back? I think Stewart would have to go 6 or 8 higher than what he's expected each round just to get that. So he has to average about 122 to get those points back. So it's not really worth it. So that's a good one there. I was tempted to go Stewart, but I wanted to put this guy in because he absolutely burnt me. So my sell is Nat 5. First things first, 313k. It's an awkward price. I took a big gamble on him. It was between him and Bruin. I saw Bruin was named on the bench, and that was alarm bells for me. I went straight away. He could be a sub risk. In the future, he could start as the sub, which is scary. And I thought that he might not have had the role we saw in pre-season because he was starting on that bench.
He did for
Because
the first half until Parker came on.
yeah, if he was named on the field, I would have kept him. But I just wasn't super happy with it, and I went 5 because of job security, and I thought he could have gone 80 to 90, but he went 26.
Well, it was funny because Friday night you were laughing at me because Tanner Bruin stunk it up with a 58, and then Sunday I was laughing at you because Fife was on like 6 Supercoach at half time.
Yeah, look,
It was
it
a
was
bit of
probably
karma, but it was pretty funny as well.
yeah, I deserved it. It was probably his worst game he's ever played. 3 frees
It's
against, couldn't really get into it. Didn't kick a goal.
it's that key forward role, but that's what you expect with like I think Ben King had 17.
Yeah,
Um, and people when him were like, "Oh, what's this? What are you expecting?" It's like he's a key forward. There's games where he's gonna get those scores, but there's gonna be weeks where he can score 130 plus because
yeah,
he's kicking 9, 10 goals. It's the problem with key forwards. We saw Charlie Curnow kick 2 or 3 Thursday night, and he scored a 60.
yeah,
Like you need to kick a big bag as a key forward to score well, and sadly, Fife is a key forward now.
yeah.
Well, a key
Um,
forward role. You can't really say he's a key forward because of his
yeah,
height, but
yeah.
he's got that role.
I mean, what I was hoping for is there'd be a lot of stoppages in the forward 50
Yeah,
where he could rove, but that didn't really work for him. The good thing about selling Fife at the moment, though, is it's only 35k to go up to Zeeble. But also, as I was saying before, you can go down to a Sheasel, who we both
yeah.
said was a buy. So, um, thankfully for those who have Fife, it's the perfect outlet if you don't have Sheasel or if you don't have Zeeble. So that's a straight swap there. So that is the good thing about Fife, but he scored 26 for me, so stuff him.
Just real quick,
Yep,
I've seen something today,
yep.
and it looks like Jack Bowes will be playing this week for Geelong.
Yeah, I thought he might have been an in, which
Um,
is a bit
it,
scary for Bruin, in my opinion.
yeah, they said there was no injury around the selection. There was still a little bit of soreness from that corky or
Yep,
whatever it was from pre-season, but he looks set to play this week, so he could be someone we get for a Liam Jones next week. Seeing how Jones and Bose go, that's part of my reason to keep Jones as well because Bose is coming in for 50k more,
yep,
60k more. And if Bose does what he did in preseason, he could be a good
yep,
upgrade.
yep, definitely. All right, let's get into your avoid.
My avoid is the goalpost jumping, blood wearing, headband, bloody sweat wearing Dane Rampy. Now, I've done some research for once. It
Oh, look
doesn't
out.
happen often, but when I do, I find the good stuff. Um, so Dane Rampy had a score of 150 this week.
Yep,
The last time he did that was in, I believe it was 2020.
okay,
Um, and he finished with an average of 97,
okay,
and that's his highest averaging season.
yep,
So he's and 2019, 2020, and I'm pretty sure it was 2021. He had a score of 100 plus in the first 3 rounds. 2019, he had 143 in the second round.
yep,
Um, and he averaged 91 and like 87. So Dane Rampy previously has shown early on or during the middle of the year or during late in the year, every year he's done it where he has one 140 plus game. If he does it at the start of the year, historically is showing one of his best averaging seasons, but it's still only showing a 97.
yep.
which is not showing great signs. Even if you want to make money at 356k, around there, might be a bit cheaper, a bit more expensive. That's only going to make him 50, 70k.
Yep.
It's not going to make him that 100, 150 to be able to upgrade. So my big red cross is on Dane Rampy. Yeah, as soon as I saw that 150, I had to instantly do some research, which is very rare, like I said. But and what I thought for once was actually true. I thought he'd done it a couple of times before and it didn't work out, and I was right.
Yeah. And one thing you have to think, that 2020, that was the COVID year where everyone's averages got bumped up because there was less minutes, so there was less points, so that they allocated somewhere. So those who had better seasons, they actually did a lot better than what they would have normally. So, yep, I was tempted to put him, but I've gone Nat Fife's teammate, one of the big defenders. I've gone with Brennan Cox,
If
who
you were
has.
gonna say Luke Ryan, I was gonna do these ones.
I, I was tempted, but I'd prefer to get Ryan over Cox.
Yeah,
So,
Ryan shows he can score 100 multiple weeks where Cox hasn't shown that yet.
yeah, so he went massive in the preseason game. I think he was 170, 180 in the preseason game,
I think it was 160, yeah.
160 or something. So went massive then, and 154 in round one. Do you think he can keep up his form? I don't think so. And it's very rare that you see all six defenders go 90 plus in a game. And as I said at the start, three of them went 130 plus. And Cox was obviously one of those with 154, Ryan with 171, and I think Hayden Young went
Hayden Young had
138.
130 on the dot, I'm pretty sure.
No, it was a bit high. I think it was like 137 or 138.
Oh,
Um,
right now.
Now, I also did some research, Jack, but I'm more inclined to doing research. Um, Now, Cox, his two highest averaging seasons were only averages of 80. So he's played 6 seasons, two of them, I think it was 80.3 and 80.7, so not much in it. Um, he's not a proven scorer. He's played for 6 seasons. It's very rare that we'll see a breakout at this stage in their career. I mean, this will probably be his last chance for a breakout if it did happen. Um, but I'm definitely won't be expecting 154 each week. I think he drops back around those 70s and 80s with the odd big game. But I didn't watch the Freo St Kilda game, so um, I'm not sure what happened. But it looks like the
He's
Saints,
got, I'm not going to lie, he's got a very enticing role.
yeah,
Not saying that he's going to drop 150 every week because that no one's dropping 150 every week, but with his role, he looks to have what Luke Ryan had a couple of years ago as that intercepting marker, and it was him and Young to take the kickouts.
it
Not
was 2-2-1 between Ryan,
Cox and
Young,
Young.
and Cox. So it
Yeah.
was shared.
Um, he's someone who can easily average 100, but
I don't think he does that.
the thing you got to look at is if he is to average 100, it's 100 on the dot. With his role, it's possible, especially because his disposal efficiency is usually very high. But I think it's 460, 480k. 100 on the dot isn't going to be your D6,
No.
and it's not going to make you money to 550, 600k to upgrade.
Oh, and
It's going to it's
even
going to get you to 500k, 510 max, and that's not really leverage where where you have people lower to make more and score around the same
yeah,
to upgrade.
yeah, and usually if you're selecting someone in the 400 plus, you're selecting them as a primo. So
Yeah.
Look, I think he can go 85 for the
I'm saying
future.
because I watched the game. At best, his ceiling for an average is 100 on the dot. Where
Yeah,
I think he will finish is 85 to 90.
yeah,
Um, because one, it's Freo, and two, everyone's inconsistent, and key defenders' inconsistency scoring is like a key forward.
yeah,
But he can easily, like not easily, but he can definitely push to 100 on the dot. But I see him between 85 and 90 if he's consistent.
yeah. But as Jack said, that's not good enough for D6, so he's an avoid and a big stay away. So that's how buy, keep, sell, avoids done and dusted. Again, what did you think of it? Did you like it? Let us know in the YouTube comments below. As we get into Jack's favourite segment, the Aiden Bonner Club. All right, Jack, let's get into the Aiden Bonner Club. Do you want to tell everyone the rules and then go through the votes?
Yeah, so the rules must play one quarter to qualify 20-25 minutes unless they score a negative. It's a 3-2-1 voting system, so um there's 3 spots up for grabs unless more than 3 people score in the negatives after the like the third lowest score. If there's 3 more negatives, they get 1 vote as well added on, and obviously we'll add their score into it. Um, Tied scores will get equivalent votes. So if 2 people get the same score, they get the same votes. And weekly updates will be on every podcast like today and on our Twitter page. So getting into the Aiden Bonner Club round 1 votings, I'm gonna go 1 to 3 because like the Brownlow, because originality and stuff like that, and the hype. So in one vote, going off Rule 1C, we have Francis Evans and Jackson Pryor with 6 Supercoach points. Now, they were in the same game and they were both the sub. They had 20 plus minutes in, which is Rule A, and they had 6 Supercoach each. So, round of applause.
Nice.
One kick each. One kick. Well done, lads. Well done. Now, with 2 votes, you can say it's a bit tough because he got subbed out. But in 49 minutes of football, we have Liam Jones with 5 Supercoach points. Well done, son. Well done. Well done. And with the big 3 votes and the current leader, the current title holder, the current champion is Jack Petrocelli from the West Coast Eagles with 4 Supercoach points. Now, the best thing with Jack Petrocelli is I believe he got subbed in sometime in the second quarter because of a concussion or something like that.
Mhm.
And he was on about -3 until the fourth quarter started. Then he got a kick. It must have been a pretty good kick because he jumped from -3 to 4 Supercoach points.
I
So well done, buddy.
I think he got a score, assist or a score in involvement. I remember seeing it going, oh, he's not in the negatives anymore.
Yeah, I didn't pay too much attention to that game because West Coast North Melbourne didn't really excite me much to watch.
Yeah.
Um, but I always have the Supercoach scores up, and seeing that, let's just say things were getting a bit rowdy. You would have thought I was at the Melbourne Cup about to pick a winner. I was going that crazy, and
Yes.
the disappointment to see it go to a 4 is upsetting, but it's still a fucking fantastic performance for 3 quarters of football.
Yeah. So Jack was messaging me every game, going, "Oh, this person's on this. This person's on this," and we were both hoping for a big negative, but we did get one this week. But
Well, it was
um,
funny because the one time I sent the message and it wasn't about a negative, funny enough, it was Aiden Bonner.
who
He had
scored
like 34
82.
points at quarter time. He was the leading super coach scorer at quarter time. Like,
Yes.
what?
Yes, very rare. But the leaderboard will be up tomorrow. I have to make a full thing on it, and I'll make sure that's updated. It'll be up every Wednesday, probably around the same time as the podcast. I think that probably works best. So well done to Jake Petrocelli, who is leading the Aiden Bonner Club. So well done.
He hears
Um,
voices in his head, and they talk to him saying, "Get some more 4 points. We want to see more."
that's it. That's it. All right, so that's going to do us for the podcast. Jack, is there anything else you want to say, or are you happy just for me to sign off?
Hopefully, hopefully it's a bit less chaotic this round.
Yeah. Yes,
I
I
don't think
think
there's
we're all
much more
hoping.
to say apart from that, but let's hope. Let's pray that El Primo's actually performed this week.
Yes.
And no more injuries.
I've had enough.
I've had enough.
All right, well, that's going to do us for today's podcast. How did you like our 3 segments? Did you enjoy? Let us know in the YouTube comments below or on Twitter, which you can find us on Twitter at BreakevensPod. Trying to hit 500 followers over there. So takes 2 seconds. Click that follow button. We need, I think it's 68 more to reach the big 500 milestone. So as I said, just click that follow button, and on YouTube you can find us at the Breakevens. We're on the road to 200 subscribers, so make sure you click that subscribe button. It helps us out because a lot of work behind the scenes are going into these videos and all the visuals that you will see on YouTube. So if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, make sure you check out the YouTube video because we have nice, fun stuff in there for your eyes to and your eyes and your ears to hear and listen. So thank you all again for watching and listening on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube. Good luck for round 2. As Jack said, we hope it's not as chaotic and no more injuries. And until next time, it's bye for now.
See ya.